they're basically a hopped up, as you could say, ski boat. They run a production outboard on it, just like you could buy off the showroom floor of any marine dealer.
SST 140s.
They run a basic stock engine, stock power head. No modifications are allowed. You're limited. It's like a stock car as far as the engine's concerned.
And Champ boats.
They're allowed to make modifications to the engine, which helps increase the top end a little bit. They'll be running closer to 130 miles an hour at the end of the shoot, but they sacrifice a little bit of acceleration.
Translation, a weekend of speed, power, and fun. 1 month from today on the Old Sacramento waterfront. Stuart Sato, News 10.
Well, speaking of speed, what more can you say about last night?
Sacramento's Water Festival is 1 month away, but a boat full of people will prove to be a preview of things to come on Independence Day. These hydros get up to 100 miles an hour. No thank you. Wouldn't catch me in one. Jim McKay, a leading driver from Modesto, says the Sac River is perfect for this kind of racing.
No, this is not a marathon. We run a much narrower river than the Sacramento River. To me, there's plenty of width for a lot of boats, and you can probably run 3-4 boats at a full turn, no problem. You can be going 115, 120 miles an hour, and you just let off on the gas just for an instant turn your steering wheel in the other direction.
What do you like most about this event, the Sacramento event?
Well, one thing that's nice, it's almost in my backyard being from Modesto. The race course, like I said, is ideal. The water conditions, I don't think they're ever going to get rough here, so I know no matter what the weather does, we're going to get a chance to race. Spectator turnout, it's always nice to have lots of spectators, and we always have them in Sacramento, so what else could you ask for?
What else could you ask for? These guys are trying to con Mike Lowry, our photographer, and be getting in a boat, a two-seater that goes over 100 miles an hour.
With a camera?
With a camera on the Sacramento River.
Festival is about a month away. The people who sponsor the boat races had some of those boats out on the river this afternoon looking for a little publicity, huh? Water Festival, July 3rd, 4th, and 5th on the riverfront in Old Sacramento. For a while, there was some doubt we would have racing this summer. As it turns out, it could be the best racing ever.
What we had last year was 20, 25 boats. This year, we're expecting anywhere between 55 and 60 boats. We have 3 separate classes of racing. Last year, we had just 1 class.
These are the boats we'll see here. The drivers say they're looking forward to coming.
Oh, yeah, I think Sacramento is turning out to be
So unless you can push them, it'll happen. They don't have to do any quarter without you getting ready. Listen, these race car drivers say the green means go and the checkered means stop. There's no home guard in between. You can be sure that
money, the urge to make lots of it, to win races. That is exactly what the school wants to hear from each of its students. Racers are divided into 3 categories determined by the number of races they have won. The Racing Federation limits the number of drivers to exactly 1,550. The top drivers are placed in Category A. They number 480, and in terms of wages, they average $176,000 a year. So the money is definitely there. B category racers make up the bulk of the drivers, numbering 850 and averaging $70,000 a year in earnings. The lowest C rank racers average $26,000 a year. It's important for a racer to keep winning for another reason. Those in the A category are permitted to race far more often by the Federation than B or C racers. Thus, they have a much better chance to win more money. For the student, money is only something to dream about. On this day, the new class formed only a few months ago was taking its first exams, both on the water and indoors. On the dock, mistakes or memory lapses were dealt with quickly and sharply. This is what happened when a student failed to help another racer bring his boat into the slip. It's a pretty safe bet that young man will never make that mistake again. But there were other mistakes this day by the fledgling racers. Here's what happens when you try to round the marker too closely. The youngster was not physically injured, but the incident did nothing for his ego. In the motor shop, the exam centered on fully disassembling and reassembling the Yamato-made 40-horsepower outboard motors. Race drivers are responsible for the motors they race with and must become skilled mechanics in every phase of its operation. The clock is running, and as each student finishes, he or she races to the front of the class to report and have the time noted next to their name. They run everywhere, Walking during school hours between 6 a.m. and 9:30 p.m. is not permitted. The food is excellent, and more than one youngster has acknowledged it is as good or better than Mom's cooking. Everything is done in Western style at Matosu, and knives and forks are the order of the day instead of chopsticks. Training in the martial arts is an important part of the student's day, and again, the instruction comes from experts. The days are filled with close order drill, working with the boats and motors on land and in water, in lecture rooms, in maintenance centers. Many of the students will not make it through the year, either because they find the course too demanding or discover that racing is not really in their blood. At the day's end, there are no complaints about having problems falling asleep. The midnight dreams are similar too, of a fast start, a smooth turn, and making money. Lots of money.
For all of the tens of thousands of people who bet on the motorboat races and those who are in the races themselves, there are only a handful of people who really know what it's like to handle one of these jackrabbits, the drivers, and it's for professionals only. That's our show for this week. I'm Mark Dolmich at Lake Matosu, near Mount Fuji, for This Week in Japan.
This program is presented by the Japan